Hey guys, Nicholas Monteer here with Home with Nick. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel today. I'm greatly appreciative of all of your energy, time, comments, all of that jazz thus far. And we did so well with a video recently about a millennial true story about buying a home, spreading out some of that good news out there in the world, also giving some amazingly interesting and brilliant advice just from real life experience as a millennial out there buying a home in this market. And so I have another friend who did the exact same thing, and yet their story is a little bit different. I wanted to provide even more perspective. I told you guys I was thinking of doing a series on these, so I think I'm going to. And they were kind enough to sit down with me and actually go through exactly what's happening in their home search or what had happened in their home search. And again, I want to go through all of those details with you guys. This time I tweaked the questions a little bit to be a little bit different as I got some feedback saying, well, hey, I'd like to know this, I'd like to know this, I'd like to know this. So that's exactly what I'm going to do for you guys today. So let's get right to it. We've got Kaylen and Malcom. Thank you guys so much for being with me today. It is such a pleasure. Let's get right to our very first question. So something I didn't cover in my last video was basically going over what do you guys actually do for a living? I should have asked Krista and Eric that, but I didn't. So what do you guys actually do for a living? Give everybody kind of a rundown on who you are, what's going on.
I work in television production, which is pretty much everyone in LA.
And I work for Viacom CBS on the digital side, which is the streaming platform.
Now, I feel like I have to ask this question every single time because it really is a big question, and that is, what was your biggest concern with buying a home? Like, what did you guys think about? What did you stress about? Everybody watching has lots of concerns, and I think that they want to know what actually happened.
The biggest concern for me was if we bought something that needed a lot of TLC or needed a bit of repair. We both don't have too much extra spare time, and I don't think we'd be willing to put in that time equity or be able to put in the time equity to build up a house like that. So we were wondering if we could get something like that within our price range.
Plus, we're not great with DIY or fixing stuff.
This one I always know the answer to, but I always like to ask it anyway. So how early did you guys start shopping for a home, online, in person, all that jazz? Just give it to them.
Well, honestly, we started looking not realistically to buy a home, but to have a pulse on the market, because it was very obvious from when we were renting in one of the cities that just how renting was going up, that at some point we were going to be paying as much as we would be paying a mortgage. So I'd say really looking at areas and homes would have been 2 years before we bought.
And something that kind of goes hand in hand, like, how did you guys search for homes? What apps did you use? What was your favorite app that you guys used? Tell the viewers what worked for you guys.
Apps we used Zillow and Redfin were the two main ones. We did use some realtors have on their sites as well. They're not so much apps, but they're websites, but Zillow and Redfin for sure. Zillow is good for just getting an overall snapshot of an area, I found, but I did find Redfin to have a lot more accurate numbers when they have the estimates and stuff like that. But both, when you leverage those and then your tools of your realtor, I think that's good.
So this question makes me laugh a little bit, but the truth is, you know, I'm really curious because it was kind of like a left curve. It was like, wait, what? We're looking at that? Oh my God, that's amazing. So how did you guys settle on what house you actually liked, or how did you come to find the house that you liked?
We randomly came across the place we ended up buying on Google. It was actually a loft, which we didn't even know we could afford or really existed in Los Angeles. But we called Nick, our realtor, and said, hey, what do you feel about a loft? And he said, I love that idea. Some people, I don't think it would work for because it's just one big space, but it works for us.
Definitely. We definitely at first were actually, it was almost the opposite of everything we were looking at. We were looking in this part of the city. We didn't think we'd get this close to very desirable areas. We were looking at different areas and more 2-bedroom apartments or condos, and this one just completely out of left field. I don't even know how it ended up coming across. It was just very lucky.
Yeah.
So a big part of home buying is really getting that realtor-lender pair, and again, it really is so crucial to find a dynamic duo, or even if they're separate, just making sure that they're cohesive and that both of them are going to help you save time and money. So how did you guys come up with actually finding the correct lender, and what was that experience like?
The lender we chose was the one recommended through our realtor, and they had a good relationship with them, and they seemed to know what they're doing. So that's how we did. We didn't actually go searching and didn't compare, but we were happy with our lender.
Yeah, I actually think it's really beneficial, at least in our experience it was, to work with a lender that knows the real estate agent, because as Nick says a lot, you know, that's a really dynamic duo that you need to have, and they need to be in communication. So I think if your realtor has, you know, a relationship already with your lender, it could be helpful.
It also helped that our lender was experienced with people in entertainment, because their paychecks in entertainment are a bit different to corporate gigs. So they're not always considered full-time employees. So he was very versed in dealing with people that were within our industry and knew how to help reflect that on our loan applications.
So let's go a little bit deeper. Let's get a little bit further here. How was shopping for a home? Was writing an offer challenging? Was looking for a home challenging? Let's get a little bit deeper on those questions.
The actual process of searching for a house wasn't too difficult for us. We had a list from our realtor based on our preferences, so we just went with that. And that was, I think, the best way to do it, instead of us searching for places to tour on our own.
I don't think writing an offer was challenging, because in the first sense you already have a number roughly of what the seller is looking for, and then what came to this place is there was quite a few offers put on it, so then they went to everyone could submit another offer, and the sellers were very clear on what they were looking for, and they threw in a couple of extra things too. They were wanting like it was an extra 30-day leaseback period so they could stay till they found their own place, and we ended up bumping that up to 45 because we thought that made a stronger offer. And also just knowing if there was a lot of other competition for the apartment, you kind of can gauge roughly from where you were at, where the market's at, what to hit the number on.
And I know we kind of already covered this, but what kind of home did you end up buying? Tell the audience what you guys actually ended up calling home today.
So we ended up purchasing a studio loft close to downtown and East Los Angeles. It wasn't the area or type of apartment we were looking for, but it was just so unique and too good an opportunity to pass up on.
This kind of goes hand in hand with the question that I have a little bit later on, but what do you guys love about your new home?
We love how unique it is, the fact that it is a loft and you feel like you're living in the city, which really appeals to our personalities. I love that it has a really big kind of garage door opening. Right when we walked in and we saw that, where you could open up your balcony to basically your entire house, was really, really cool. And that's probably my favorite part.
Definitely the indoor-outdoor living of California. You think a home, you don't think apartment with that, but this has that. So that was just so special.
Again, the mysterious E word, escrow, 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 escrow. So what was escrow like? I think a lot of people don't understand escrow is a neutral third party, but what was it like for you guys experiencing escrow for the first time?
Escrow was, I haven't done escrow before, but it seemed pretty straightforward. We did a little bit longer. It was a 45-day one, just as we made an agreement with the sellers that they could stay a bit longer if they needed to. They ended up leaving about a week earlier than the 45, which was nice for us, because then we could start moving in and get excited about our place. We didn't have any bumps. I think we had a lot of information before, and we knew it was going to clear and everything was fine. So I don't think that was a big worry, the escrow side of things.
So a lot of us do a lot of Googling, digging, especially as millennials, right? We are like just fiends online with finding stuff out. So I'm really curious, did you guys know a lot about the home buying process before you got into this? Were you pretty educated? Were you not educated? Really, what helped you navigate that process? I'm sure people would like to know.
I did quite a bit of research before and talked to a lot of people that had gone through the process and what to look out for and what you should expect at certain points. That really helped for sure. Just doing your research before. I'm no expert by any means, but nothing surprised me along the way from doing that, looking into it a little bit before the process got started. So that was super helpful.
Maybe a basic question, but something people want to know. What kind of loan did you guys end up getting as a first-time home buyer?
We got a 30-year fixed loan from our lender.
Now, I know I'm the one doing the interview, so maybe I hope the answer is not biased, but who was the most vital role for you guys in the actual real estate process? I'm always curious to know this for myself, because you guys interact with sometimes 15, 20 different people throughout an actual escrow. Again, we employed that many people just by buying real estate. So my question for you guys is, who did you feel was the most vital role? Who did the most hand-holding and really got you to the point where you needed to be?
The lender, because of the amount of the process that falls on his plate and that he owned. He also came with us to the signing of the contract at the escrow company. He really walked through it. He's very hands-on, so I would definitely give him the nod for that one. for the most vital part, just for he had the most hands-on with us.
I would say him, and of course the realtor, who does a lot of things behind the scenes that I think people don't even realize. So if you have a really great lender and really great real estate agent, you can't go wrong.
I see a lot of videos on this, so I'm gonna ask this question, but do you regret buying a home? I guess, not do you regret buying a home, but what is your favorite part about home ownership thus far? Let's rephrase that. What is your favorite part about home ownership thus far?
I have two favorite things about home ownership. For me, it's A, you're putting money into something you own and not rent that's just going down the drain. B, you can fix things up in your place and you know that it's yours, and that sweat equity is really great. Not that we've done much yet, but we will eventually, and that's always a good feeling to know that whatever you change in your place, it's, you know, going toward the value of your house.
Definitely, I would definitely say the owning and having a stake in something, and 100% of your monthly rent check going to someone else's mortgage, whereas 30% of ours now, 70 to interest, something like that. Having something that we own and that's ours, I always kind of had this feeling when you live in these bigger buildings that you are, even though you're renting and it technically is your apartment, you're kind of a guest. You get that feeling because you're paying the building management. They're always doing all the fixing up. So knowing that it's ours is really reassuring, and it's just a nice feeling. And
then lastly, guys, this has been so great, but what advice do you have? You know, what would you actually say to somebody, hey, I'm out here right now shopping for a home. The housing market is hot, it's crazy. It's just as crazy as when you guys bought, and you know, I'm looking to buy a home. What advice would you give me if I was out in the field trying to make this happen for myself?
Advice I would give is to just have all your information about your financials and about yourself in order, and don't cut any corners. If you have any questions, ask your realtor and ask your lender, and work with people you trust and that have a good reputation and a lot of experience would be my advice.
Thank you guys for taking so much time out of your day. You know I love you. You guys are amazing. Big shout out to Kaylen and Malcom for actually doing this today. So great, guys. I really appreciate it. You're going to give so much insight to people out there, and I think it's going to make a world of difference.
Thanks for having us, Nick.
Thank you.
See you at home with Nick.
Again, guys, thank you for the viewer watching us today. I really appreciate it. This has been Home with Nick. I'm Nicholas Monteer. This is my channel. And again, my goal is always to make you guys feel just a little bit more at home, whether it be DIY, real estate, what have you. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell for when we reveal a new video. We typically have content coming out every single week, so don't forget to miss an episode. I will see you guys next time. Again, this has been Nicholas Monteer with Home with Nick.